Today on Canyon Motorsports, we're going to show you how to change a tire like a pro. Welcome back to the shop, Canyon Motorsports. I'm Ryan. Tucker's right there.
Hello.
So, today we're going to do some tire changing, and we're going to use this guy right here that I picked up today. We'll do an unboxing and assembly here shortly. But the reason that I got this is because we're changing out tires. So, for the blue mini bike, these were the stock tires that came on it. It's here in the background, but it's got knobbies on it right now. The stock ones are good for turf, the knobbies are great for dirt and general off-road, but we got some new tires that we're going to throw on this thing, and I am frankly tired of paying 20 bucks a pop at Les Schwab to have my tires changed. So we got this, and we're going to do it ourselves from now on. So here it is. This is the mini tire changer. This is from Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight, some good, some bad. Harbor Freight's gotten better over the years. So let's go ahead and get this guy open and see what we got. Garbage. Missed. Okay, we got owner's manual. We got some pins. We got styrofoam, the cheap Chinese kind that Harbor Freight loves. God damn. So these are spacer blocks. That's the base. That's the top. The handle. One of the handles. Looks like it'd make for a good disciplined attitude adjuster, huh?
No.
Huh?
Oh, there's another handle.
Yeah. Time! Okay, so we got the base clamped down to my rolling workbench here, and this is the piece that supports the tire. And I'm actually a little bit disappointed because this rod going through is a 1/2 inch. These bearings are metric and they're 12 millimeter, which sucks because 1/2 inch is just over 12 millimeter. So these bearings won't fit. So to get this tire on, to unmount the tire from the wheel, I actually had to pull the bearings out real quick. But we're going to assemble this, and we're going to get this tire off, because these are the tires that we're putting back on it. These are from Go Power Sports. I just got these in. They just came out with them. No, they did not sponsor me on these. I actually had to buy these. I ended up winning their $50 in-store credit last month, and these are 25 bucks each, so all I had to do was pay for shipping and handling on them, which was an awesome deal. So thank you, Go Power Sports. We're going to put these on today, and we're going to see how well they fare on the mini bike. Alright, so you got the base. We mount it down, and this actually has 4 holes in it so that you could bolt it down, but I don't want to bolt it down. Everything in my shop is modular, so we just got it clamped down with some couple cheap Harbor Freight clamps. So we're going to go ahead and pop this guy in. And pin that in place. Then we go ahead and take the tire and set it over like that. And that's going to be supported underneath here. And this actually has a rubber coating around it, a rubber boot or bushing to protect your wheel. Then you take the adapter spacer. You take the other spacers, these are nylon or some kind of plastic, and you take the top piece that is threaded on the inside. And it helps if you line, there's 2 notches in the adapter spacer, you can line them up with your valve stem. And you tighten this guy down here. Okay, now that you got your tire mounted up to the mini tire changer, you can go ahead and take your valve stem out. Now I see a lot of guys just taking a pair of dikes and cutting it, which is stupid. One, you have to replace the valve stem every time. If your valve stem's in good condition, you don't need to replace it. And with as often as we change tires over on these mini bikes, we would be going through an awful lot of valve stems. So we've got this little screwdriver valve stem remover here, probably from Harbor Freight, and we're just going to go ahead and get it in there and pull the valve stem out. So now we got the breaker foot into the breaker bar. We can take one of the supplied pins and get it up in there like that. Now, one thing that I have seen is I watched some YouTube videos and the guys had this foot round the wrong way. So it was actually pointing like this instead of like this. When you put this on, you want to make sure this foot is going in the same sort of plane as the sidewall of this tire. These bulge out a little bit, so you want that foot to dig in towards the rim.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Easier than the old one.
Easier to do them with a cross peen hammer.
Yeah.
Alright, once you get the bead broken on both sides, you see free floats there now, and you take this tool. So this tool is the lifter. You're going to pry with this end. And you got a little knobby end, and then this is going to ride on the rim. So what you do is you get her underneath that first rim, and you get that up and over. And then you do the other side.
Wow.
And it's that simple. Changing tires like a pro. Well, it's simple getting it off. We're going to go ahead and get the new tire ready to install. Alright, so we got the tire off the rim. We got the new tire ready to go. And I've got a little Tupperware container here full of some very, very soapy water. High concentration soap to water mix. Like, if you've got a deal this big, and I mean, you know, she's about yay big at the bottom, cover the whole bottom where you got a layer of soap across the whole bottom. You want this stuff really dang soapy, because this is going to give you the lubricity needed to get this tire on the rim without really fucking the tire off too much. And I just took a a sponge, chunk of sponge, and some concrete tie wire here, and made up a nice little, if you've ever gone to Les Schwab and seen they've got these, and they coat the inside of the bead with this soapy, basically soapy water mix, this little sponge. So we're going to do the same thing here. And that way you don't get your hands as dirty. Alright, so now we're going to get this guy up and over. And if my table didn't roll on me, I might actually be able to force that on by hand, at least the first half of it. But we're going to get this guy on and get it in the bead. And we're using it to push the bead over the sidewall of the rim. Okay, there's the first half, and you can usually accomplish the first half with a little elbow grease because it is tapered in the right direction, has a tendency to go on easier. Now we're going to do the second side, which we will need this bar for to get it lipped over the rim. So we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're going to get that first half around, and then we're going to take our bar, and this is the end that you want to use to get in there, and it's about half a bar. So you got a full knob, full diameter on the top. On the bottom it's only half. And this is my first time using this, so bear with me just a little bit here. The rolling table is not helping shit right now. One goddamn bit. Come on, motherfucker. Now, I bet that looked like a shit ton of work on camera, and it was a little bit, but that is significantly less work than it took originally when I mounted the other ones. So, we're now going to get the bead set on this guy, and then we're going to go ahead and do the back tire. Okay, so we got both tires done and mounted back onto the bike. The Harbor Freight mini tire changer was actually really easy to use. If you've ever had experience with tires before, there's a couple things that are a little goofy on it, like the main stud, piece of all thread being half inch instead of metric like you would normally associate everything with Harbor Freight being. Because a 12 millimeter would have been awesome. That way I wouldn't have had to take out the bearings in both of the wheels. That being said, with the back tire, I actually did have to take off the sprocket and the brake disc so that it would sit nicely on the mini tire changer from Harbor Freight. But now that these are back on and ready to go, let's go ride. Alright, so there it is. That is how to change a tire like a pro with the Harbor Freight Mini Tire Changer. And check out these tires from Go Power Sports. Link in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to Badger Canyon Motorsports. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye bye.